Okay. Now here's my counter argument towards that. To everything that you said, it is amazing to me that the reason that and I'm not saying things that you're saying it. I'm just making a
No, we're having a
counter argument.
discussion. Let's do it.
Yeah. The only reason that those things are being said is because the world has opened back up. Because everything that you said when we was going through COVID and the world was shutting down, the first thing out of everybody's mouth was nobody wants to work. And we constantly kept saying, no, nobody wants to work for what you're paying us. So when people kept sitting there saying, it is amazing to me. And by the way, America, this is funny that you literally should look at yourself when you say this. You're not, but I'm just throwing it out there. This is funny that you should look to us. Nobody should be on unemployment making more money than working. I will repeat that. Nobody should be making more money being unemployed than they would if they was working. And that was what happened during the pandemic. And the first thing out of
But
everybody out of their mouth was nobody wants to work. It isn't that nobody wants to work. That was fine that everybody wants to work, but the problem is that they was having was everybody wants to go, and I'm not again things I'm not saying you, I'm just going by arguments that I hear all the
no,
time.
no, let's do it. I like this.
Everybody,
Is a good conversation.
I should pay you a whole bunch of money just to flip burgers. I get a whole bunch of money just to take orders. No, I don't want to get paid. I want to get paid a whole bunch of money to take orders and put up with your bullshit at the counter when you're pissed off at because you got less ketchup on your damn funky ass burger than you did the last time. It is
And the
literally the
solution
customer
to that would
service
be
of
that I won't have
bullshit.
you at the counter. I will put a kiosk up. It's like we have to
But
be
that's the
careful.
deal. You
We want what's better, but we don't want to let go of what's bad. Right?
the
What's
damn
bad is the working conditions that some of these places put people in.
right.
Is bad. They should not even be able to sustain themselves. The only reason they can stay in business is because they're underpaying their people. That's how they do it, right? So if you want better, better is not paying these people better. Better is that business shouldn't be here taking advantage of people so that people can go move on to a different job. But in order to do that, you have to invest in your society. You have to decide that I'm going to do better to help people get through school. I'm going to do better to help people get their kids through pre-K. I'm going to do better with getting job training. I'm going to make it better. There's so much more to it, but people want a simple solution. They go straight to, well, if you adjust for inflation and the appreciation of the dollar, everybody should be making $17 an hour. Okay, here's the thing about that $17 an hour or 15, whatever number you want to run with. Let's say you take a person making $8 an hour and you move them to $15 an hour. They didn't sell more food. They didn't make more profit. We're just going to adjust the labor cost upwards to where it makes more sense for the people that you have come into work each day. So now we're going to pull that out of the profit margin of the business. How is that sustainable? So now everybody loses their job. We're coming at it from the wrong way. That's my contention. McDonald's doesn't need to pay their people more. McDonald's needs to, well, they do need to pay their people more. But McDonald's in so paying their people more, we need to actually think about how will they respond to that demand. Right? We can't just say do it because that's what's right. Because what's right is not necessarily profitable. And people who love to, oh, it's profitable, profitable. Yes, profitable. Because if it's not profitable, it can't sustain itself and everyone loses their job. So, what are the real solutions that people are willing to go for?
I don't have a problem with a company balancing their books to be profitable. What I have
To
an
what
issue
extent, though?
because
How profitable is too profitable?
that's the issue that I'm having, because year after year you could be profitable in your first year. I'm just making up a company. Just make up whatever XYZ. You was profitable that year. The second year you was more profitable. The third year you was more profitable the first and second year. It's when you get to the fourth year when you decide, not only do I want to be profitable, I'm going to cut jobs regardless of what the reason is. Not paying you more, not paying for more equipment, not paying more wages for anything. I'm looking directly at the profits and the deal is this, what bothers me so more is, okay, first, second, and third year, this is how much we made in profit. So the fourth year, this is how much I literally want to make in profit. Literally what I want to make. So my idea is I want to cut as much fat as I possibly can. And when I say fat, that includes employees, wages, laying off people, laying off warehouses or shutting down warehouses and everything else. They're starting off their base off of looking at their profit margins. So when it is bad faith to sit there and go, well, what are you? We can't sit here and say you have to be profitable. You were profitable. The problem is the greed in your profit that you want to make as much money as you possibly can. The hell with everything else.
That's why why I advocate for the windfall tax, right? So that if your profits are so far beyond what they were the year prior, then you're taxed heavier for that windfall, right? Last year you made $10 million profit. This year you made $15 million profit. That extra $5 million would be subject to a windfall tax because you had a really great year. Now, that's from a governmental system trying to kind of put the brakes on it a little bit. But the problem that I think is important here is a lot of people do not have business training. So they don't understand balance sheets, income statements, or cash flow statements. They don't understand them. So they don't look at the fact that the business was in the red when it was paying salaries for the first couple of years. They only start to clue in when they see the profit part, right? But that profit part came after running a deficit for a certain period of time. Then the other thing that we go into, especially if you're incorporated, is where you have this whole thing where you're trying to, every quarter, you're trying to beat last quarter, or you're always trying to comp over the prior quarter's numbers. So now you're not planning truly for the future, right? Your future plans are just how do we stay in business, but you are really moving on a 3 to 6 month cycle because it's always about being able to report better numbers, which then means you're not really caring about the business or taking care of the business, in my opinion, which gets into something that you were talking about. Well, if you are trying to run a business,
I was saying keep going.
What'd I do?
Nothing. I want
now
you to
I'm lost.
Keep going.
Oh, but well, I'm just saying, you said keep going when I was already talking.